Hello everybody, this is Purge, bringing you a first-person replay commentary. This is that Slardar game that I promised you guys, and here I am, Slardar on the way. I played this pub game. I gotta mute a bunch of these guys when I get a second. I played this pub game 2 days ago, a bit after the other one. Apparently I can't do it just yet. I'll have to wait till I get back in. But there's a lot of annoying all chat coming from some of my teammates, so I just want to save you guys from having to deal with any of that while the game goes on. So, TI's tomorrow. Well, it's not tomorrow, but I'm going to Seattle tomorrow. Really early in the morning. I think my first flight is at like 6 a.m. or something horrible, but 6 a.m. flight, flying to Seattle. I have to go through Chicago first, so 2 quick flights, and then gonna be in Seattle, and then I don't know exactly when the TI coverage is gonna start, at least on Valve's end, but I assume it'll start at the latest on the 8th, which is gonna be Tuesday. So I'll fly Sunday, and then it might start Monday the 8th or the 7th, or Tuesday the 8th. I'm not exactly sure. I think most of the international people are flying in a day before. They're all getting there today, whereas since I'm domestic, I'm getting there a day later, which is probably for time zone reasons, so that they can have an extra day to adapt a bit. But I'm so excited to be there tomorrow. It's going to be really fun. If you didn't see the announcements yet, one of the streams that's going to be happening at TI is going to be a newbie stream, which I'm going to be helping out with. So we'll be focusing on principles for new players, which is pretty much what I do most of the time anyways, so I'm really excited to do that. I think I'm going to be able to do an okay job with that. So let's mute some dudes that are annoying, and we can play it again. Okay, so I ended up randoming, I believe, so I ended up giving some wards to somebody because we didn't really have a typical lane setup. So I'm going to start off with a Stout Shield, a Salve Tango, 2 Ironwood Branches, and a Clarity. Normally you can't also afford a Clarity Potion when you do this. You can only get away with the 2 Ironwood Branches, a Salve Tango, and a Stout Shield. But since I'm going to a safe lane and I have a bit of extra money, I'll grab a Clarity Potion, just in case I do need a bit more. Slardar's actually a lot less mana intensive than he used to be. I think I've played a game since he was recently changed, but Sprint used to cost mana, and now it actually doesn't anymore. So his only mana is actually Slithering Crush and Amplify Damage. In the past, he actually had a bit of mana problems, but he's a lot better off now. And even getting a Clarity Potion is in some ways not needed, because I'm basically just stunning, and your ulti is very low mana as well. Only 25 mana per cast, and the cooldown is long enough where things are going to be just fine. At this point, I was trying to figure out what the hell our allies were going to lane, but I wasn't entirely sure. I'm just going to be in the safe lane here, and I'm going to do my best to get last hits and get some levels and do a nice job. Slardar's main benefits is that he has an incredibly good AoE stun. Look at this. Oh, shoot, you can't see the AoE. It's a 350 radius, but it's something like, something like this kind of a radius on the map. It's or on the in an AoE. It's really strong. 2.5 second stun. It is physical damage, which means it actually does less damage late game, but decent damage early game, depending on their armor levels. And it also means that if you reduce their armor, you can get extra damage from this. So it can actually be higher than 200 just by medallions or whatever reason. Your bash is also physical. This has changed recently, and the scaling is actually getting really amazing. Scales up to 120 physical damage. That's so high. And also bashes for 1 second. So what Slardar's role is basically, becomes is you end up playing similar to a initiator and a disabling hero, while also being a bit tanky, is basically what you do as a Slardar. And it ends up being a lot different than what most heroes play as, because your carry potential is okay, but it's not really amazing. What you generally focus on in the early game is at least doing a lot of overall DPS and stuff like that. Now, the problem with this matchup here is that Ursa, I looked like I was blocked off, so I'm just going to run the opposite way. I can't trade hits with Ursa. It just doesn't work because he does too much damage in long duration team fights. He hit me 6 times here, and every time he hits me now, I'm going to take an extra 90 damage. So I can't really go back that way, and I'm going to have to play a bit safer now. Now that I'm salved back up, I can go high ground again, especially because we do have a Skywrath Mage, and he's going to fissure block us off, which prevents us from getting EXP for a bit. So the only reason I ran that way is just simply because it was for the best. I'll just do a little damage here, get a couple hits in. Don't really want to tank or dive under the tower too much here, but I'm happy to do a little damage to him. And a little bit of Clarity Potion here is going to go a long way as well. So he's salving up, which means we're on about equal footing. If I can get a little free hits in on him, I will do it, though. It's definitely good to do that. Looks like I did end up losing my Clarity Potion, but that's fine. Always max out the stun first, in most cases. The stun duration does scale up as you level it up, so it's pretty darn worth it. The sprint level scaling actually scales pretty good as well. Doesn't scale amazingly, but the ability is really, really good. I really like sprint as an ability. I've gotten an ability draft before, and I thought it was really fantastic. But I did have a, I was playing a strength hero. I was playing Centaur when I had it, but I thought it was really good. I actually like this skill a ton. You have to be careful with it though, because it does increase the damage you take. So generally you're going to only want to use it when you're running away, or you're preparing to initiate it to get that boost in. The skill that most Slardars will go is Treads Blink Dagger, or they'll go Treads BKB. But most always you're going to get a Blink Dagger, especially because it costs no mana now. I mean, that's been in the game a long time now, at least 6 months I believe, but it's completely worth it to snag it now, basically. Because he overpowers, I'm expecting a fissure, so I'm just going to back off. And now I'm going to have to play a little careful, because if I do get fissured, he could actually kill me. So even going for that last hit's a little scary, essentially. Oh man, I could have swore I muted him. Alright guys, we're in for an adventure. Get ready for a lot of all chat. So I grabbed 2 levels of sprint here because bash levels are pretty unreliable. I don't really think it's that worth it to put 1 skill point into bash in the early game, because it's only going to work 10% of the times that I hit, approximately. So I'm just not a huge fan of putting skill points into that when I could have a guaranteed extra 8% bonus speed. And 8% is very small. If we think about how much that is, 10% is 30 movement speed, so 8% is something like 25. It's not a huge amount, but it's pretty big actually. That much movement speed is pretty big actually. Oh, I should have stunned a little earlier there, I think. But we can get him here, I think. A couple more hits. And I'm taking bonus damage from the tower, of course. But we do end up getting the kill. So, pretty good kill on that guy. Nice little roam from the Skywrath mage, and I can go back to last sitting really badly. So even if your lane isn't always super perfect, so this is a good example of that. My lane isn't perfect. I'm against a hero that can out 1v1 me. I can kill him if I get ganks. He can kill me if he gets ganks. But generally, I can't trade hits with this guy, and I have to be really careful about that. So if I have to worry about trading hits with him, then I'm also careful here because I have no mana. So that means if he goes on me, I'm absolutely going to die. So I have to play safe for about 5 seconds here. But if I can't trade hits with him, if I was him, I would be trading hits a lot more as the Ursa. Let's see what items he has. He's working with a stout shield. So he does have a stout shield. I've got a stout shield. He should be trading hits with me. My armor's ridiculously high at 7, but he could be getting a big advantage against me. So I think he's playing this lane a bit wrong personally. He should, instead of just focusing on last hits, he should just come up and right-click me more. It's a 15-second duration, and all he does here is he casts Overpower and he runs at me. He does this multiple times. But that's all he does. He doesn't have to do Overpower. He could just come up and hit me once. Fury Swipes last for 15 seconds. He could hit me once. He could back off. He could hit me again. He could back off. It doesn't have to be super committed. And every time that I Fury Swipes on me, I can't actually sit in lane for a bit. So it's actually pretty scary laning against a hero like Ursa. Luckily for me, I'm actually almost level 6 because we got that kill earlier. And once I hit 6, I can trade with him a lot better. But at least for now, it's not looking very good. I can't actually CS very much. And if you are put in this scenario due to bad laning, make sure you tread switch before you cast, by the way. The mana goes a long way. I'm just going to put that on him. That way, if we end up trading, he does have an extra -8 armor or whatever it is. 10? Is it 10 now? Yeah, -10 armor. Really, really big damage boost. So, if you are in a bad lane like this, and I can see all these heroes TPing, and oh wow, there's 3 heroes, they're obviously going to try to kill me, etc., etc. Fissure's going to miss here. I'm just going to sprint away from this. I don't want to have to waste my mana to stun him. If I can just run away from him, it's going to be just fine. And now that I see all this pressure coming up to me on the top lane, I'm just going to back away. Now what I ended up doing here was taking a camp, and then I ended up going towards base. I don't like this choice. See, what I basically did was I went to the jungle and I used mana to get a CS. But what I could have done maybe is pulled the wave past, or go to a different lane to farm, or jungle. And what I did is I wasted mana just to get 1 creep. I don't think that was the right choice. He was on cooldown. So, ran back, getting a TP scroll. I think I wasted a lot of time right here. This is a pretty big mistake. Grabbing a TP scroll is fine, but I went a really long ways to do this. So I don't want to stay top because I know they're pressuring. I could maybe go back. Can't exactly remember what I decided to do. Looks like I did TP back up top. I'm remembering a point later where they ended up being kind of aggressive. At the very, I didn't really need to go back to base to get this TP scroll, essentially. All I did was get myself like 200 HP and a bit of mana, and it didn't really accomplish very much. So I think this is a pretty big mistake, going all the way back to base and then running and TPing back here. I got very little out of it. I could have been level 7 by now, quite possibly. So anyways, since the lane's not entirely ideal, I have to change my behavior patterns a little bit. I can't just sit in the lane and continuously get last hits. I have to decide whether or not it's safe for me to get last hits based on where heroes are. Now I do know that the Earthshaker is over there in the side shop, so what I'll probably do is I'll react to things, and he's going to be coming forward. Here comes another hero, it's Vengeful Spirit. So now I know they have 3 heroes. So this is kind of what you typically find as an offlane hero, for example. I'm waiting to get that EXP from that creep. Unfortunately, it didn't give me 7 just yet, but I know that the 2 supports are over there probably, so I'm going to hit 7 here, and I'm going to go walk towards them. Because I don't actually want to be around the Ursa. And if you're playing offlane and you're expecting the supports to wrap around you, all you got to do is look at them. You just walk over and say, oh, hey, supports, and you just keep running. I knew they were there. I saw them there, and I didn't freak out because I was like, they're probably here. But if they decide to go on me, the Earthshaker will stun, and the Venge will stun. The position you don't want to get yourself in is you don't want to be under tower by the Ursa when they do that double stun combo. Because the damage source is really in the Ursa, and it usually is in the carry. So what you have to do is you have to predict that they're about to wrap around on you, and then you leave the tower. And sometimes it's going to lose you a tower, but it's better to not die and lose the tower than it is to die and lose the tower. Way better. So instead, I shifted to mid lane. I'm going to get last hits there. I was thinking about sprinting down to try to lead off that the Purge, sorry. But I realized that I wasn't going to be able to make it in time, so I gave up, basically. And I was like, alright, this is going to be a waste of my time. It would be really hard for me to get over there in time. Instead, I'm just going to sit mid and I'm going to last hit. And by sitting mid and last hitting, it also puts pressure on the tower. So while they're doing all this stuff on the bot lane, I can get last hits. I can make them feel like their mid tower is going to die. I might even be able to do a little bit of damage to the mid tower. My pushing power isn't quite good enough to do that, and even now I can shift on there. Now that they're diving and stuff, I'm going to use my sprint here because I want to get across the map a little faster. One of the great reasons to use sprint, it's like, oh, I have to run across the whole map. Why not run 448 instead of 350? Gives me 100 movement speed by the time I get there. It's down. I'm not taking bonus damage. Sprint is fantastic. I really like this skill. I think it's very, very good. But you kind of need a bit of a tanky hero to utilize it properly, I think. Luckily for me, I got the last hit. My last hits are pretty bad this game. I've only got 27 at almost 10 minutes. You should have about 50 at least. Maybe a bit higher if you're getting complete free farm and you're doing a nice job. You should have about 70. And I'm not hitting that, but I was solo versus a dual lane, sometimes solo lane, sometimes tri lane. So, and I did waste a bit of time where I ended up going back to base and TPing top. If I wouldn't have done that, I'd probably have a couple more last hits, or my EXP would be slightly higher. Now at this point, I picked up 1 level of bash. I usually don't get it this early. Some games I'll go 4 in sprint and 4 levels in slither and crush, just because I do want to get out to the max movement speed, because it can make the difference. I lost my last. God, I was gonna get that last hit, but that pause messed me up. I was mad about that one. And since that tower is dead, I'm going to pressure a little bit here. In fact, it looks like we're going to try to lead off on the Pudge. So I'm going to try to shift down here and help out. And then I see a billion heroes. This doesn't look very good. I just wanted to stun that as fast as possible. My sprint's going to run out here, so I'm a little scared. But luckily for me, Venge isn't 6 yet. Oh, that was good. I'm going to use sprint because I got to get away from the Ursa. I'm getting ready to stun. I was a little too far away there. I might have almost been able to save him, but I actually got a... Did I get a double bash or something? That sounded like it. End up getting a bash. We got a triple kill. That went from being a really scary scenario to being like the perfect early game. And now I've got a blink dagger at 11 minutes despite not having a free farm. So now I'm going to go all the way back to my base because I'm missing so much HP and I have no HP regen and my mana's pretty low as well. I can blink, I can sprint, I'll get home pretty fast, and then I can go out and do some ganking, and this is what you should be doing as a Slardar. So, if I would have been a little less scared of the Ursa, if I would have moved in a bit quicker, then I would have been able to save the Clockwork, probably. He wouldn't have died that one time. And the game would be a bit easier, but still got a kill. I don't know why he says Skywall all the time. I think he means Skywrath Mage or something, but it's weird. Looks like there's some stuff happening. I'm gonna go for this one. This is pretty crazy. This is a lot of heroes. I think it was a bit of a waste to do that on the Venge here, but man, talk about stuns, holy crap. Oops, I messed up my blink there. That guy looks dead. Yep. So, I got another kill. I think I killed the Purge, actually. Yeah, I killed the Purge. The Venge died. We lost the clock. I messed up my stun. That was a bit of a mistake. I should have blinked and stun first, but I must have pressed it too fast or something. Maybe I'm not used to this ping or something. I don't know. Do I have an excuse? Probably not. It's pretty bad. Even still, I'm going to continue to run around and fight a lot because, you know, having a stun really makes a big difference in terms of getting kills. And then I will sprint on back down to the bot lane. Let's see how much speed I get when I use it. Now I'm at 476. So getting 4 levels is actually really important. It gets you closer to 522 movement speed. They're actually chasing after these guys. That was pretty weird. I'm going to try to lead him off here. Can't remember if I ended up fighting him or not. Got here just in time to get some EXP. It's kind of nice. And there we go. 4 levels of sprint, 1 level of bash. Again, bash is really good, but I'm not a huge fan of it in the early game because it's not extremely reliable. I'd just rather get the extra movement speed from sprint and use that to potentially outmaneuver my opponents and do things that they shouldn't expect. I don't know. Maybe it is worth maxing out early. I'm really not sure. The bonus damage it does now is ridiculous. Looking at this, it is so ridiculous. In the past, it was something like 50, 60, 70, 80, or it was like 40, 50, 60, 70. And now it scales from 60 to 120, and that's all physical. That's amazing damage. It really is. So I'm not entirely sure. Maybe we should scale it earlier. It's hard to say. Maybe if I go blink first, I don't need sprint as much, and I can just go bash levels, and that'll give me overall more damage, because that is a huge hit. That's like it's over a 2 times critical, and it stuns. It's pretty good. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure. I kind of wish I had my speed boost here, and unfortunately, he ended up backing up just then, so I was not able to initiate on that. I maybe could have killed him there. Probably not, but maybe. I was a little worried about getting hooked after that creep, so I decided to blink at that moment. And I want to show up pretty fast here. Now, there's a lot of heroes up here, and this is important not to go in moments like these. Even though a fight just happened, you have to look at it and realize, oh, there's like 3 heroes alive here. Us initiating on that is just going to be really bad. Most likely. I ended up grabbing a ring of health on the way here, by the way. I'm going to be going for a quick vanguard. I didn't want to deal with that, so I was just going to blink away. He got the gold, but whatever, not a big deal. And I'll just try to finish my vanguard. Reasons vanguard is good. It's good against Ursa. Ursa's right-click damage is pretty often, so blocking that is good. It's pretty good against Chaos Knight as well, because he's going to do a lot of right-click damage. It's okay against Venge. It's okay against Earthshaker. But, I mean, all around, I wasted so much HP on this. This was a big mistake. I really shouldn't have done this, but I think I ended up staying out because I got the Vanguard. I'm pretty sure. So I'm going to sprint to try to get there. If you get an urn, by the way, make sure that you switch to int or intelligence threads, or int or agi threads. Wow, those axes do so much damage. got the wrong one. That was really close. Bit of an overextend here by Jaro. Man, those axes do composite damage, and like I talked about in the last video, composite means that if you lower their armor, you actually do more. So because of my amp damage, his axes do a huge chunk of damage. It's pretty cool. So we're kind of just sitting here waiting to kill people. All good. My ult now does minus 15 armor. Does the cooldown go down as well? It does not. What a kill. What an easy kill. Wasn't very smart from the Earthshaker, that's for sure. But yeah, you can really get by with just treads on Slardar. I mean, the important part is just being able to initiate, pretty much. Got a little disabled there, we got 2 kills. Like, with the Blink Dagger, you get to initiate on stuff, and you end up doing us so much damage. I'm just going to TP out here. Alright, so what you normally get, Vanguard is just like an all-around good early item to have. You can make a Vanguard, you can make a BKB. Heaven's Halberd is pretty good. The reason I'm making a Halberd here, Halberd is really good against Ursa, because it stops them from attacking, and Ursas sometimes get their BKBs delayed, especially this game where I'm quite ahead. So that can be pretty good. I'm running at 503 movement speed. Now with Sprint, my bash is getting maxed out. BKB is great, Halberd is great. I really wish I was a little... What a bash, that does so much damage. I got 1 hit, didn't get him, so not too unlikely, or not too unsurprising there. I had like a 20% chance to bash him, and I didn't get him. It's only 1 hit. Some weird stuff going on the inside of the map. Looks like we lost 4 heroes there. On the bright side, I get to go farm in the meantime. I think this is my Halberd coming. Yeah. So I have 800 or 1800 HP. Strength items are fantastic on Slardar, by the way. Just physical damage is obviously great, because it is going to be increased by your amp damage. Just need a little attack speed. If you just want to focus on carry items on Slardar, by the way, and you don't care as much about utility like Halberd, you can just build something like an AC instead. AC is pretty much a full carry item on Slardar because it reduces armor on opponents. It reduces their armor even further, which means your right clicks and your bashes do more and more damage. It scales a bit better into the late game. I accidentally, I felt really bad about this. I accidentally wanded instead of blinked for some reason, so I was a bit late on the stun there. I don't know if he would have lived. Maybe. It would have been a hard kill. I'm a bit surprised he actually got that kill. I think it was Sunstrike? No, I don't know what that was. I am not quite sure how he killed that guy so hard. But he got him. Man, that bash hits so hard. Gonna get a little speed boost to try to catch up here. Gonna finish off the Purge. Oh, I was sad about this. Luckily for me, I ended up getting the Ursa as well. This extra attack speed from the Beastmaster is really good too. That actually started pretty bad for us, and it still ended up working out okay. Just really good to go in and out of the fight. And Vanguard again gives you a lot of advantage. Like just having stuns and tons of regen and big HP pool, it goes a long way. Really does go a long way. I love that bash sound. It sounds so good. So got my halberd finished. I've got 2k HP. Can use that against guess we're backing up here. I guess they're all respawning. It's pretty hard to push in at this point in the game, honestly. Because they do respawn pretty quickly, even if you do wipe them in a team fight. Pretty easy pickups there. One stun and Sky ulti is almost always going to kill somebody. Now we both do different types of damage. I do all physical and he does all magical, but still works out okay. I think I'm flying out my halberd now. Another really good item. Well, alright, I wouldn't call this a good item, but another item that you can get as a Slardar if you so want it. This sucked, actually. Did it. I'm in a pretty bad spot. Wasn't quite doing the damage I would have liked. Why did I run in circles a lot there? Albert. It's well done by him. Fortunately, the fissure put me on the wrong side, and I'm going to give a lot of gold to the Ursa there. Should have just ran. I think I had a chance to blink, but I wanted to, for some reason I wanted to try to outplay them. So, they actually have 3 blink daggers themselves. That's pretty funny. We have 4 though. A lot of blinks in the game. Gyro's going for a dag on 5, by the way. Sky's going for nags, I think. Or a bloodstone, not sure which. But I'm pretty far ahead, I think, in terms of farm. Net worth, yeah, my net worth is way up there. And I'm not even farming that much, I'm just farming heroes. So, it's kind of all it takes, honestly. It doesn't take a whole lot of last hitting to get in a good spot. Skywrath has so many kills. It's pretty amazing. It is a little difficult for us to coordinate, though, mostly because we're not trying very hard to coordinate. We're not, like, grouping up. 5-man pushing, covering people. It's really what we need to do to clinch out the game here. Bash. I used a halberd on him so he wouldn't attack, but that was pretty much all I could do there. You know, he took so much damage in the first place. I halberded, so at least Pudge couldn't attack, but, you know, that wasn't quite enough to save him up. So. What a mistake, guys. That was pretty close. Some very wise split pushing from the Chaos Knight. Trying to find the guy. He's not there. Oh, I was really sad about that. I lost vision of him. Well, he grabbed the invis. It was my bad. I should have been able to cast damage in time, maybe. But he grabbed it just in time. I would have had that kill otherwise. And I'll just go sprinting to the top lane. Go clean up some last hits here. Make sure you tread switch before you cast. It's really important. On a hero like Slardar, his mana pool is so limited that you really can't afford to not tread switch. Halberd's actually a great damage item for strength heroes, by the way. Gives you 45 damage, plus 20 strength, which is about 200, it's like 280 HP. Or 380, sorry. It's quite a bit of HP. Pretty good damage. Looking back, I kind of wish that I went AC first, right after the Vanguard. Just because it does increase your damage by quite a bit more. The 5 armor and the attack speeding increase is really good. That was quite confusing to me. I wonder what the graph is like. We're really far ahead. 15k gold advantage, that's good. So our team's kind of just going around doing stuff. I probably should be with them. So I'm going to sell my stick. I'm going to get my hyperstone for my AC. I'm going to go try to fight. Now my attack speeds are really high. That's not just because of my hyperstone though, it's also because of the inner beast aura from Beastmaster. He makes your team. So we're like, alright, we'll just take Roshan, no big deal. Just gonna break his Lincolns here. We don't have a good way to break Lincolns except for Gyrocopter actually, but he got here a bit later, so no big deal. Just wait until I get my ulti again. And then when I do, he'll shred pretty fast. Minus armor is by far the best way to kill Roshan rapidly. As you guys can see, really crushing through there now. We give the Aegis to the Gyrocopter because he's a bit squishy. Whereas I have tons of HP, and I don't really see myself dying, especially with the evasion. The evasion does help out a decent amount. Kind of wish our team would have pushed a bit more together though. I mean, like right now we could have just gone 5-man bot instead we kind of spread out across the map. But I played pretty much my own game this game, as you may have noticed. I like went around and did stuff where there was stuff happening, but I kind of focused on myself. Maybe a bit too much. There was a lot of pauses. Get ready for pauses. A lot of pauses. What last sitting? Wow, they actually didn't kill the Chaos Knight just now. Man, my creep damage is really good. I really wish he stayed. I wish I was paying attention there. Should have gone there a little faster. Could have gotten a Pudge kill. Pudge definitely can't match me right now. Got 2.5k HP, and I can minus armor him, so I can definitely kill him. Now my team is entirely top pushing while I'm sitting by myself trying to finish my AC. Not very team player of me. I was trying really hard to blink just now. Alright, now it's like, okay, my team's pushing, let's go. I'm pretty late here, but whatever, I'm coming. And I was like, oh, we'll push mid lane a little bit. I don't want to give them the opportunity to split push or something, or that's my vague excuse for getting more last hits. Alright, now we get to go push top. There's my AC finished. At this point, I kind of wish that I had the Aegis, actually, because I am the melee hero, and I'm very likely to jump in and play really aggressive. You'll see that coming into play very shortly. Get ready for the best initiation you've ever seen. There it is. That was a really big stun. Where that, yes, just dunk. But if I had the Aegis here, I could still be alive, basically. Instead, they're going to clean up a bit. Gyro probably should have gone aggressive and just died and respawned, I think. But again, he's playing like a casting Gyro build, which means that he's mostly going to be single target focus. And if you're single target focus, you can't deal with the Chaos Knight very well. And I wasn't doing a very good job worrying about the future problems. Did I ever talk about Mjolnir? I almost did earlier. But Mjolnir on Slardar can work because the attack speed that you get from it is great because it gives you more chances to bash. The downside is that it's all magic damage, and your hero is based around doing physical damage because of amp damage and your bash damage is physical, and your stun is physical, it makes perfect sense to want items that reduce their armor so that you hit harder. When you grab Mjolnir, you do components of magic damage as well as your also typical physical skill set. So in some ways the Mjolnir isn't a very good item. AC fits you way better, but the one thing that Mjolnir gives that AC doesn't in this game, the one thing that Mjolnir gives you is AoE, and AoE is actually one of my problems that I'm having against the Chaos Knight. I really can't deal with him very well. Of course, another pause. No big surprise here. He stunned a boar, so he decided to pause the game. So the Gyro kind of needs to just die here so that he can respawn with full HP, but he does not. So anyways, I've got AC now. Looks like I'm ever so slightly AFK, and I should TP back to the bot lane, perhaps, would be good. I don't know what I'm looking at right now. It was alt-tabbed or something like that. I was like, we got this. Now I'm like, what should I do? I should probably sprint and TP. That's what I should be doing. I'm taking quite a long time. Hey, another pause. Bunch of really cool dudes in this game, man. I wanted to go fight them at the Ancients, but it seemed like they were mostly up there. I was going to do a blink stun and then run away there, but I changed my mind. Landing the stun on 2 if possible. Not the correct dude. If I had a way to deal with stuns a little bit there, I would have done a lot better. But I got stunned for quite a while. I also picked the wrong Chaos Knight. Again, that's the AoE problem. I actually thought that was the real one because I was doing very low damage to it. I'm not quite sure. I did get hit by the Vengora. The Vengora is really rough on me actually because, again, I'm only buying strength items. So that means it does reduce a huge percentage of my main damage source. Almost all of my damage is like that. So it's actually a big problem when I do get hit by that. It reduces my damage by like 40 to 50 damage or something. Quite a lot. I think I was talking to a friend on Skype at this point about the game. At this point, my Gyro started asking me, he's like, buy a BKB, buy a BKB. And our Gyro's gonna die again, so. But I kind of wish I went AC instead of Halberd, or if I went Desolator instead of Halberd would have been really good too. Desolator AC, it takes up your orb, but it provides you a ton of minus armor. It's -7 plus 5, so it's like -12 armor, plus your ulti is -20. You easily hit the minus armor cap on pretty much every hero. So even though you don't have a big damage number, you still do a lot of hits. And in fact, this game it would have done more damage than a Halberd as well. And it wouldn't have been as affected by Vengora negatively whenever I kill Venge, so that would have been cool. I bought a piece of lifesteal here because I was going to go for Satanic next. Satanic is another item that is pretty tanky-ish. It doesn't give you good DPS output, and I regret going for the Dominator as well. I think I should have grabbed something. I should have just gotten a Desolator, honestly. A Desolator would have been good. I think that would have been solid. But the lifesteal is pretty good. I thought that maybe if I had lifesteal in that last fight, I could have fought longer, perhaps. Would have been good. That was my idea. But, yeah. The extra armor is not bad either. You already have an AC that's armor. And then you pick another 5 on top of that, and your survivability against Chaos Knight really goes through the roof a lot. It really helps a lot. Yeah, they started telling me to buy a BKB. I mean, I could have bought a BKB. They could have bought useful items. So the Scarlet Mage actually hasn't got a new item in a really long time here. I've been surprised about that. But as you can see, our damage output's actually pretty solid right now. Especially with the extra attack speed coming from the Rexar. And I'm going to go to the side shop quick and pick up my helm. That way I can finish up my item. Another good thing about the helm is it does give you 20 damage, so that's not bad. Yeah, 20 damage, 5 extra armor, lifesteal, all this good stuff. I could also have taken a creep and maybe stacked ancients or something like that, but I never ended up doing that this game. And for now, I'm just going to jungle a couple creep camps while we're waiting for everybody to get here and maybe push again. One thing that would have been really good though is probably buying a big damage item, and I really didn't do that this game. I kept buying a bunch of items that are like almost damage items. That was a really big stun. Got a kill. There's a kill. Dodging my stun there was really big. Yeah, that stun dodge was really big. If I would have been able to kill him or stun him, it would have made a big difference, but he ended up killing me. They get scared and they back off because of the illusions, and that should be the end of the push. So it happened a lot actually when I went to stun him. He would ulti. It's pretty big. Oh, I can't believe he only has one skill point in his ability. I'm really surprised about that. So they gave him another kill actually, and he bought back. That's why he didn't get any more items, you know. I think he should have had at least like an eggs at this point, because his KD was really, what was it like? I just had it up. It was like 15, 4, and 15. You should have like 2 to 3 items at that point. But their KDs just got a bit worse here. Especially Gyro. He had a really good early game, but he's died 10 times now. They really did try a lot less hard here. So I can't deal with Chaos Knight illusions very well. I should probably go for something like a Mjolnir, and I decided to start working on that. I'm dead for quite a while here. I think I'm level... Oh god, I missed stuff. Well, anyway, Skywrath Mage just died again because they're out farming really far forward. Pretty soon here I'm alive. Yeah, Clockwork is now decided to fight even though everybody's dead. So that's 2 heroes dead. Alright, 3 heroes dead. It's a good time. Kinda wanted to actually kill this guy. I should have ultied him here. That would have been good. I actually would have killed him if I would have ultied him there. As soon as he BKBs, I should ulti again. I didn't think about it when I was playing, but when I was watching this time, I thought, oh, he used BKB. Any negative buffs are going to be removed. And I didn't think about it when I was playing it, but it removes negative debuffs. That means my ulti got removed from him. So because I lost vision, I didn't know that he was TPing. And I thought he was around the corner, and he wasn't. Gyro's going to die now on a Purge. Did something really smart, and I'm gonna get cleaned up there on the mid lane. It's really not safe to farm in the mid lane, especially when I have a bunch of dead allies. I mean, Gyrocopter just died. You know, that was pretty dumb. So they're gonna go up the mid lane. What's the graph like here? Still pretty in our favor. EXP is not though. Clockwork maybe getting out. Oh well. I decided to buy back here because I thought trying to get something out of this would be good. My stun was pretty bad though. Definitely not a good stun. Those illusions are just so tough to deal with for us. is. What a last hit. So since I bought back, that pushes me really far away from my maelstrom here. Looks like the fight's starting. One hero dying. Yep, Beastmaster's gonna get blown up here. Should have retreated as soon as he bought back. A lot of buybacks here. Just trying to slow him down a bit. And this was the most painful thing to happen to me in about 3 months, as I'm sure you can see. So things that I did wrong. Should have grabbed the Aegis. Instead of getting Halberd, I probably should have gone Desolator or AC immediately. Halberd is useful, but it's not that useful. It's not like an item that you use to like advance yourself and snowball. It's an item that you use for the utility of it. And on a carry, that's not something you can afford. You need to grab a damage item or a damage tank item, and it gave me kind of damage and it gave me utility, but there weren't a ton of uses for it. I felt like even watching the replay just now, I used it fairly well, and I only used it like once or twice. There just weren't a lot of opportunities. I felt maybe there were and I didn't use it enough. I don't know, but what a painful game. Holy shit, I was so sad that I lost this. But I should have skipped the Helm of the Dominator. I should have skipped the Halberd. If I went to bot back, I would have had about 6k more gold. Counting those 3 items, I could have gotten a Desolator for 4k and maybe like a Vlad's or something like that, and I would have had lifesteal and the armor. I think that would have made our team go a long ways. Or instead of going Desolator, I could have gone straight into Mjolnir right after Vanguard and Blink, just in anticipation. Or not even Mjolnir. I could have just gotten Maelstrom, spend 2600, get Maelstrom, and then make an AC instead. And then I could have just had a bit of an AoE that would have helped me identify which Chaos Knight was the right one. Or I could have gotten a BKB. Don't go Halberd. It's not good. It's really not that good. I get it all the time because I'm like, this is going to be really good, and it's never good. It's never good, and it just depresses me. And then I lose games like this. And I mean, it was mostly my allies. Like, my allies messed up way worse than I did here, as you can see by their deaths in the double digits. Beastmaster played fine, but Clockwork dying 13 times. Skywrath had the perfect start, and he never progressed in items. And Gyrocopter went for Dagon 5 E-Blade, which, you know, he never actually ended up hitting. So, what a painful game. I ended up losing MMR for this. What a sad day. But anyways, thanks for watching. That's the Slardar game. Try to be active, get a Blink Dagger, go for kills, and do your best not to throw. So, yeah, I'm going to Seattle tomorrow. I already told you that. But going to Seattle tomorrow, it's going to be fantastic, and I can't wait to be there. Please tune into the stream. Go to Dota2.com in the next coming days, and you'll be seeing some super top tier Dota 2. So, thanks everyone for watching. I'll see you later. Bye.